Living and non-living things.
On the first day of school, we were science kids. We asked questions and we were brainstorming. Then we looked at these pictures, a flower and a rock. Then we reviewed if it's living or non-living things.
The first day of science was the engage phase. In this phase, students engaged in a brainstorming session as I asked them several different questions about living and non-living things. The questions I asked were, what does it mean to be alive? What does it mean to not be alive? Are you a living person or non-living? Are your pets and family at home living or non-living? Are your toys living? What is an example of a living thing? How do you know it's living? What is an example of a non-living thing? How do you know that it's non-living? What do you need to survive? Now let's listen to students' responses to that last question.
We need water,
Water and food. What else, Arwa?
Water. We need our heart. We need our heart.
We need a heart? Yeah. What else? What else do we need, Marley? What else do we need?
We need don't do this. We can't do this. Are you gonna pass out?
Oh, hold your breath. So we need air.
Yes, so we need air because we don't use air.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Mariah,
we have to breathe so we can live.
Yeah, we need to breathe. What do you think, Mariah? What do we need to survive?
You need to see.
What do we need to survive is food.
After the brainstorming session, I displayed two pictures, one of a flower and one of a rock. I asked students to tell me why one object would be living and why the other would be non-living. As students shared, I recorded their responses. Here they are underneath the picture on the screen. Some of the students' responses included that the flowers were living because they grow, that they make their own food, that they need water, and some of the students' responses for the rock included that it was non-living because they don't have eyes, and it doesn't grow, and that it doesn't need shelter, and it doesn't have arms or a mouth or legs. At the end of the lesson, I discussed the concept of alive and not alive by explaining that living things are alive now or are dead but were once alive, and that non-living things are not alive now and they never were alive.
Every day of science, we explain and explore. We went on a scavenger hunt in the classroom. We found all these crazy objects like Legos and a bike. Was a cat in the classroom, and then we figured out what is living or non-living. But like a horse is living, but a laptop is non-living.
On the second day of science, the students explored the concept of living and non-living things. We first went on a scavenger hunt in our homes and found any object we could. Then each student had a turn, sharing their object and explaining whether they believed it was living or non-living. Let's listen to what students found.
Let's see what everybody found.
Look what I got.
Oh my goodness, whoa!
It's Mickey Mouse.
Oh my goodness, so
I got a candle. It smells really good. It smells like...
All right, so if these objects are non-living, why did you pick them? Why are they non-living and not living? Tell me.
Because they're not real, they're fake.
Next, we went on a Google Classroom scavenger hunt to explore different living and non-living things in a new setting. Listen to what I asked students to do and an example of one of their responses.
Are going to look at this Google Classroom. Oh my goodness, look at all of these different things in here. This classroom's wild. So listen.
I even see a bike.
What? Yeah, so listen. You guys are going to spend the next few seconds just looking at the screen. I want you guys to stay on mute. I want you guys to stay on mute, and I want you guys to look at this classroom and think about all the different living and non-living things you see. I'm going to come around in a few seconds and ask you what you saw, okay? Hi, Scientist Marley.
Hi.
Hi, can you tell me what different living or non-living things that you found in this crazy classroom?
I thought it was living.
Okay.
Fish, a horse, a butterfly, a bird, a lizard, a caterpillar, a ladybug, a cat, a dog, and your shirt not living, the bike not living, the shelf not living, the computer not living, the bear not living, the marker not living, the smiley face is not living, the clock not living, the words not living, and the last one is not living is the books and the flowers.
The last activity students did in this lesson was sorting the objects they found from the classroom scavenger hunt into a T-chart. The students sorted the objects under the living column or the non-living column.
On day 3, we learned about science. We explained who was non-living and living. We watched a video of other scientists, and Miss S showed us this checklist. Then we went back and see if we did anything wrong, if there was living or non-living, but we didn't have to do that because we got it all right. And now she showed us this checklist of Hakoko and a bear and toy Power Ranger toys and a ladybug.
On the third day of science, I explained the different characteristics that make things living or non-living. We first watched a video where other kid scientists explained the characteristics and showed different examples of living and non-living things. Then I displayed this characteristics checklist to students. We first looked at a picture of my dog, and I explained that since she needs air, food, water, shelter, and that since she's grown, since I got her as a puppy, and that since she reproduces, since she's at her own puppies, we would classify her as a living thing, and I checked off the characteristics by placing a check mark in the box. I then explained that since the toys do not need any of those things, we would classify it as a non-living thing, and I checked off the characteristics by placing a red X in the box. Then as a class, we went back to the Google slide that we had sorted the day prior with our new characteristics checklist. We determined based on the checklist whether or not we needed to make any changes from what we sorted. As a class, we continued into our last activity, which was completing different characteristic checklists for items such as chocolate milk, koala bears, Power Ranger toys, and a ladybug.
On day 4, we were expanding our idea. We did a scavenger hunt and we played Jeopardy. And for example, we did which one doesn't belong. And it was pencil because pencil is the only non-living thing.
On the fourth day of science, students expanded their understanding of living and non-living things. The students first went on a scavenger hunt. As each student shared their object, they were required to use the characteristics checklist they learned a day prior to classify their object as living or non-living. Let's listen to students' responses.
I got a little pumpkin, a medium-sized pumpkin, and a large, big pumpkin.
Is it living or non-living? Tell me why.
No, it's not living. It doesn't need food. It doesn't need water, and it doesn't need shelter, and it doesn't grow, and it doesn't reproduce.
Oh, awesome! Good job.
And it's not living. It needs air, it needs food, it needs water, and it needs shelter.
What's your object?
And it reproduces. It's my dad.
The next activity in this lesson was Jeopardy! The categories in the Jeopardy! Game included characteristics, living or non-living, one doesn't belong, I spy, and mixed. Here are some of the questions and answers from the game. Now let's listen to students' responses during the game.
I spy.
All right, let's do it. Name 3 living things in this picture.
Okay. I see a duck, a bear, a fox, a fish, a bird, a little boy.
All right, awesome. Let's see. Oh, and awesome, Kamari. She gets 10 points. All right, let's do it. Fill in the blank. Living things need. What's one thing living things need?
Water, food, air.
Awesome. Let's see. Oh, so we could have said air, food, water, shelter, and that is correct. Awesome job, scientist. Soul, 20 points for you.
50 points.
50 points. All right, here we go. Is this wave living or non-living?
Not living.
Not living. Let's see the answer. You are right, Khalif. Awesome job. That wave is not living. It doesn't need food, water, air, shelter, and it doesn't grow or reproduce. Awesome job. Awesome job.
We represents living, not living things, and we put them, and we didn't have no problem putting them wrong in the wrong spot because we did it all right. And we did a check mark into the X mark and a bike. They don't need no and a flower check mark.
On the 5th and last day of science, students' understanding of living and non-living things was evaluated. Students were asked to sort pictures into a T-chart under the living or non-living column based on the checklist characteristics. On the next 2 slides, students were responsible for looking at a picture and then deciding if they were going to put a check mark or X in the boxes on the checklist to show whether or not that object is living or non-living. Before students went into the Google Classroom to take their assessment, we quickly reviewed the characteristics checklist from the explain phase. Now let's look at some of the students' results. I dedicated the last part of this video as the student spotlight because I had asked the students to share anything that they would have liked to share about this science unit, whether it was their favorite part, what they loved, what they learned, anything that they wanted. So this entire next portion of this video is solely every candid response from the students and everything that they wanted it to be. So enjoy.
Thank you, Miss S, for teaching us science. We love you and you're the best for teaching us science. Now I am going to show y'all a non-living crayon that doesn't need no air, no water, and it doesn't reproduce, it doesn't grow up, and also it doesn't need air and it doesn't need water. So this is a non-living crayon.
When we were learning science, it was fun, and this is a non-living thing. It doesn't need air, shelter, water, or food.
Awesome.
And if you have a non-living thing, you can use that non-living thing for science, or you have a living thing, you can use that for science.
You got to stay at the end of the day and spend time with us.
Aw, Aiden, I'm glad that was your favorite part because it was my favorite part too.
Thank you, Miss S, for learning us science. You're the best teacher that's learned us science. Thank you for learning us. Living things and not living things. Living things need water, shelter, and a grow. And not living things don't need water, shelter, or food, or don't grow.
Scientist is
Yes.
Suhaila, and I got a cat named Maui, and he needs water, shelter, air, and he reproduces, and he grows, and he drink water, but sometimes he drink milk, and sometimes he eat cat food. Hi, my name is Damiri, and this is a dinosaur. It's non-living because it's just a toy. It doesn't need shelter, and it doesn't need water or food. My name is Kelly from our scientist, Kelly. My favorite part was myself. I need water, I need food, I need shelter, and I reproduce, and I'm a living thing.
Coral is once living, but it's not living anymore.
Hi, scientists. I just want to say bye. Peace. I'm reporter from Channel 6. We do science, and I just want to say bye.
I am on Channel 7, and thanks for watching. We like science, you like science. Peace.